Hello, Professor. My name is Prosper. This is assignment two, where we had to implement a login page, a business contacts page, and all of that. So I'm just going to run through my um, assignment, my website, just to show you the functionality. As usual, the logo brings us back to the login page. This is on the local host, by the way. Uh, this is my home page. The about page remain the same, no changes. Services page remain the same. Projects page remain the same, and the contact me page remains the same. No changes. I just had to fix some bugs like the footer bug and all of that. But moving on to the functionality of the assignment, we have the login page, which I just created. On the login page, we takes a username, an email address, and a password. I've added some demo usernames and demo email and demo password for you to log in. Test out the application, obviously. And if you are new here and you don't want to log in, you can obviously register. Uh, Click on the register page, and I can register someone. So let's say my name is Prosper, and my email is prosperlabi7@gmail.com. My password is Prosper. I'm always making sure I typed it right. So with this, if I click register, it's going to bring me back to my login page. I have never registered with the account Prosper before. I should have probably shown you that earlier. Um, yeah, so let's just assume for some reason I added the wrong email. Sorry, I added the wrong email, wrong password rather than the wrong email. So P as my password, even though my password is Prosper. If I try to log in, it's going to give me the invalid username or password because the password I registered was Prosper. So let's try that again. This time with the right password. Email Prosper11 and password Prosper. Hopefully I typed it right. Yes. So just let me get that out of a moment. So when you click the login page, it brings you to the business contact list. The business contact list is also been updated in my MongoDB database. I'm just going to quickly show you that on Atlas. So I using Atlas to link my MongoDB database to my website. And as you can see, we have the users. There are only two users, the demo password that I logged in and the new accounts I just created. And on the contacts page, we have just random people that I just added, and I added them using my app here. So let's say, for instance, obviously you can always update the app. You update the contact list. If you click on the update button, you can change the name from Priso to, let's say, Reverend. I don't know why I went with Reverend. And the number, you can obviously update the number too. And we can obviously update the email to Pepe at Pots. So just testing out. I click on update. You can see it's been updated, Reverend Pepe at Pots. And if you want to delete what you have there, you can either delete it from there. You can either delete from the update page rather using the delete button here. If I click on cancel, it brings me back to my contact list. If I click on delete right here on the Reverend Fado, it deletes it directly from my table and also deletes it directly from my Atlas database. Let me refresh this just so you can see. So I'm sorry, there's no way this video is going to be up to less than 5 minutes. I have a lot to explain. Uh, yes, so in the contacts database, as you can see, there are only 4 items now: Cash, Eddie, and Asabi, which is literally all of the 4 items I have here. You can delete it from here or delete it directly from the update page. So if let's say I want to update this, yeah, sometimes it takes a while to load. The async and await functions, a lot of them, because of all the depreciated links that Mongoose uses. So you can also delete it from here. I'm just showing you the delete button works. So if I click delete here, it's gone. I added just a mini functionality. If you're going to be able to delete, I believe you should be able to add clients to the database. So I'm adding a client. I'm adding Tom. His email is tt@tt, and his phone number is just random numbers. If I click on add client, it adds them to the table. As you can see, you can update and delete the button. This is my business contact list, and you can obviously log out from here if you want to log out completely. And if you log back in, I'm just going to use the demo email to show that the demo is working. P@P, and the password is P. If I log in, brings me straight back to that business contact list page. I'm going to add some functionality to this later to make it unique to each individual. So each individual will be able to access their own personal business contact list from the database. And yeah, this is basically the functionality of the page asked us to implement. The update, deletes, login, logout, add a client, register. And to show pages that are authenticated, they check for authentication. If I log out of this page and I try to go back to my business contact list over here, it's going to bring me back to the login page. If I go back home, I try to go back to my contact list, it's going to bring me to the login page, because the contact list page is, we check for authentication to make sure you're actually authenticated to be able to check that page. And now for the final part of my code is going to be the app.js. So I'm just going to quickly close this. This is my app.js. It's the same app.js from my first assignment, but I just added a few things basically, starting with the checking for production or development mode. If it's in production, we'll require the .env file. Session key doesn't really matter. It's just I can always change that. So yeah, I added Flash because I required Flash for flashing invalid messages, used like invalid username and password. I added what else did I use? Passport, obviously initialize passport, but I didn't initialize my passport here. I initialized it using puts in a private file called passport config, which is where I use the local strategy passport. I also used bcrypt. I'm comfortable with bcrypt. It's used for hashing password easily. I will show you that in a second in my app.js. And yeah, so obviously I initialized mongoose over here. This is the link to my private Atlas database. I can put this in a URI and just add it here, but I just decided to leave it like that. Obviously set up the new routes, created the models or the schemas for my database over here. Set up the new routes for updating clients, adding clients, the business list, the register route, the login route. All the new routes were created and updated. And yeah, the login routes, here it goes. The get function obviously renders the login page. We check if you're authenticated or not. The check not authenticated and check authenticated functions we declared at the bottom of our .js file, which is just basically check to see if someone is authenticated to enter the page, which is what denies the user from accessing the business contact list page if obviously you're not authenticated. So the login page, the post login page, if there's a success redirect, take you directly to the business list, which I showed you. If you don't, if it's a failure redirect and you can't log in, wrong username or password, you stay back on that login page, which is just the get page. And obviously using failure flash to flash my messages. The register page obviously just brings the register and the get part. The post register page posts the data. Obviously I use bcrypt to hash the password async and await. I'm hashing it 10 times, just regular number, valid number that we use in the field. And then I take all that data according to the schema and add it to my new collection, which I saved to my user database. And we await that to make sure it saves. Same thing with the business contact list. The business contact list was this is why I spent a lot of time. Obviously the get page to get the contacts from the user database. And this is I found out a lot of MongoDB methods are depreciated, so we had to do a lot of research and Googling, using try catch to try and catch the errors while we await, using async and await to try to find the contact. This is just to get the contact to populate the page. This is to update the contacts using the update button. that I showed you earlier. This is to post the updates. This is a post. This is to get the update page rather. This is to post the updates that we have, like when you're done adding username and password and everything, according to the schema. Post it to the database, which is find and update by ID. And then we have the obviously the delete for deleting. This was what took a long time. Find and delete by ID. I was having issues here because I my schema was not defined properly, so it gave me a lot of issues. And yeah, here we added a new functionality, like I said, for adding clients. So this is to get route to get the page to add the clients and the post route for posting everything we get from the client to the database while we are waiting to save. And after that, obviously redirect them to the business page. The delete button for just deleting delete button. App.delete is for a logout button, rather used for logging out of the um, business contact list page. And yeah, that is my app.js. Here is my passport config.js and every other thing. Now, the only issue I am still currently having, even though I'm going to submit this right now, is my deploying to Heroku. As you can see here, I deployed it in two ways. I deployed it using the Heroku CLI, and it did show me the success message that it's been deployed. But if I go to my Heroku CLI, this is where I deployed the Heroku Savannah, right here, and I click on my open app, I've been getting this application error using the Heroku CLI. So what I did was I tried deploying it using GitHub. Basically, I deployed it using Git pages from GitHub. I linked my GitHub hub, and then I deployed the GitHub page. This is my GitHub page. I will show you. I'll submit this link also, where you can see. Obviously, this is not my first commit. I've done this almost for the last 3 days now, trying to figure out what the issue is with my deployment, but it's still not working. So from my GitHub page, using GitHub link, I linked it up and I did automatic deploys, obviously. And yeah, I'm just going to redeploy the branch for the video sake. So you can see it's linked to my Preso website, which is the repository that I have up here. And all my documents are in here. As you can see, the model, public routes, views, and everything. Fingers crossed this actually works. If it does work, I was so happy. So yes, this is the GitHub deploy. The Heroku CLI deploy obviously did not work. I just showed you that. So the GitHub deploy, if I click on this, I get a different kind of error, which is the internal server error. I've been getting this for the last couple of days, and I'm hoping when you see this on the submission, I really don't care about the grades. I just want to know how to solve the issue, if you know what I mean, sir. So definitely we'll be in class. Hopefully you can walk me through this. I'll definitely bring it up in class again. And yeah, that is my assignment too. A lot of fun designing and figuring out errors, coding on my own. But the final part of the assignment, which is the deploying to the to Roku, did not work. And there is my first assignment 1 that I deployed. Same app, still works. So I am very much confused as to why the second app isn't working, because I'm using Heroku for quite some time now, and for some reason this is the first time I'm having this issue. Anyways, thank you very much for listening. It was a pleasure. I'm definitely over the 5-minute mark. Sorry about that, sir. Have a wonderful day.